excellent three-point shooter to the inside. Three out of the corner by Tay Fisher. Some moves that the legendary Curly Neal would be proud of. On the court in Albany. Four-pointer.
There would always be a barbecue that his father would host at his house, and the whole family would show up. From listening to slow jams, eating all types of barbecue food, we were always playing ball on the side of the house. And Tay would just always watch.
Everybody knows him as Tay. He started out as Bo. He walked so bow-legged that my dad used to call him Bo all the time.
Bo, come here.
Hi, Bo.
So as he got older, with his real name being Artavius, everybody gravitated to Tay.
He's a wrestling fan.
Oh, you're a wrestling fan?
Who's your favorite
good.
wrestler?
This is great. Who's your favorite wrestler? Hulk Hogan.
He wanted to be a wrestler at first. His first passion is wrestling. Still to this day, you might call him and Monday night he's not gonna answer because he's watching Monday Night Raw.
Whenever wrestling was on, it could be your house, he was gonna watch it, you know. He'd call me up, talk about wrestling and stuff, you know, and I'm like, Taze, you know, you should be in bed.
Where I'm from, I've seen people's dreams just get taken away from them. Whether it was from violence and drugs or just dropping out of school. All it takes is one decision, one thing that happened overnight, and it's over.
Growing up on Van Buren Street in the 90s was very different. Whatever is going on in the world was going on that street. We had drug dealers, we had, as they say, crackheads. People would be out all types of night, fighting, shooting. I mean, we had bullet holes on the side of our house, and we had violence every day, all day.
I really didn't know what was gonna happen to me the next day. Hanging out with my friends, being outside. So I always continued to go towards my dream regardless of what happens in my life.
Just coming back to where it started.
When I used to see you walk down and dribbling the basketball, going to the boys and girls. That's just for kids to be around this stage with that. There was violence at every point.
It gives me the chills just to see where I came from. But it makes me appreciate where I came from. You know? Yeah.
The Boys and Girls Club for us was a safe haven. That's like what held us together throughout all of our journey.
We started going there when we were 7. You wasn't supposed to be going to the Boys and Girls Club until you're 8, but we would sneak in.
I came to the Boys and Girls Club every single day just to get off of that street. It was predominantly black kids. That's one of the reasons why I felt like it was home. I was able to relate to everyone because they all came from similar backgrounds of an inner city.
This laid-back, funny leader. Everybody loved Tay. The Boys and Girls Club was literally the place to be and helped us grow up into who we were gonna be. It played a big part in a lot of us for our age group.
That's all I did was play basketball. I felt comfortable here. I didn't want to play for anyone else. No other teams, nothing. If it didn't have to do with the Boys and Girls Club, I didn't want to play. My friends always wanted me to try out for a modified or a freshman, and I didn't want to. I would lie and tell them I'm going to visit my grandmother. My grandmother lived in Georgia. If you were the best here at the Boys and Girls Club, to us, that meant something.
Exactly what I remember. It's the same way. It's the same way.
Would I ever want to be in that situation again, growing up or raising a family? No, I wouldn't. But it made me who I am, and I'm happy I went through those situations and those challenging times. It also helped me on the court as well. I didn't fear anyone. I didn't care how old someone was. You know, when I was 13 years old, playing against my older brother or playing against my cousins or varsity players, I had no fear.
We had an old circle driveway with just gravel. It was to the point of, like, I was so much older than them that I'm gonna do the shack. My favorite move was just back you down and shoot a layup. Then it got to his 8th grade year. It started to be embarrassing when you're 9 years older than your little brother and he starts to win now. But he's always been so competitive and didn't like to lose.
I'd heard whispers from the Boys and Girls Club, well, is Tay gonna play? He should play.
Everybody talked about how good I was. I didn't know I was good. I just loved it. Mark Weinkoop, who was the JV coach at the time, he came to the Boys and Girls Club and he dragged me from the Boys and Girls Club and made me try out for JV. As an 8th grader, as a 13-year-old playing on a JV team, which is a high school team, and I had boots on. I didn't even have sneakers. And that's where everything started.
And at that point, I knew I was dealing with somebody who potentially could be a special player, a once-in-a-lifetime player.
He just surpassed all of us in his age group, and we just didn't understand, like, wow, this is God-given talent. But on his free time, he was definitely putting in the work playing basketball.
He used to wake me up in the morning, 5, 6 in the morning. He had me dribbling with 2 basketballs in the rain, and I didn't want to do it. You know, I always said, like, come on, man, like, let's wait later. He said, do you want to get better today or you want to get better tomorrow? You know, and I'm like, ah, man. I seen the work ethic, and he wanted it.
The 13, 14-year-old Tay, he had a chip on his shoulder. And there was a walk to me, there was a talk to me, because I was young and I was good. I was beating kids that were 19 as a 13-year-old. And I thought that I should have been playing varsity.
The fact that he was playing for the school, his first organized experience, and in front of people, here's this lump of clay that needed to be molded. As an 8th grader making the move up to varsity, it was a lot more physical. He was a little guy at that point. It may have worked, but then we felt like it had a better chance of backfiring.
Academically just wasn't my strong area of my life. From elementary school to middle school to high school, I was a class clown. I loved making people laugh. That was just who I was.
He would fart in class sometimes, and, you know, just to make everybody laugh. So when I had him as a student, it was more just trying to get him to do his work and stop fooling around when he needed to and focus on what he had to do. I would always, both verbally and in writing, correct his grammar. He's not allowed to say ain't. The word like was forbidden in my classrooms. It was hard for me because I didn't want to discourage him, but it was hard for him because he had to many times rework things that he worked so hard on.
I don't know that he started at first thinking long term, realizing he needs his education. And he would let some issues get in the way at times, silly stuff with other kids or, you know, what somebody said. He would let something like that bother him. I told him this message all the time. I said, look, you're starting to climb the ladder of success, and there are others that are threatened by that around you. As you're climbing up, they're going to try and pull you down by doing various things. You may not realize it, but that's what you have to avoid. That's what you have to try and understand and stay away from things that are going to hold you back.
We went from Boys and Girls Club rec ball to him going elite so early in the game.
Tay was up and coming. A lot of people would look at it like, well, it's because your family, that's just your cousin. I'm like, nah, he's nice. He's a pure shooter. He works the floor. There's haters that say he don't pass the ball, or he does this, he does that. He's a little guy. So what's a little guy to a giant? You have to shoot, you have to move. And he did all that. He works hard to get open, and he's overly competitive, and he gets the job done.
So we let him do his thing on 8th grade with JV, and then as a 9th grader, he moved up.
I remember before he got to the high school, his teachers talked to me about him. They were concerned that he had a learning disability. He was tested, he did not have a learning disability. He just had a hard time in school. That's hard, that's frustrating, and it's a little scary knowing that this young man has great potential to do amazing things in the world with basketball. But in order to get there, you got to do well in school.
I think he had a difficult childhood. His mom was basically raising 2 boys by herself, and his mom was very ill a lot of that time, and he's very devoted to his mom, and he took really good care of her and his brother, and I think he kind of took on that role of man of the house, which made things even more difficult for him.
We take a look quickly now at tonight's starting lineups, and first up, the visiting Kingston Tigers are Tay Fisher, Keith Simmons up top.
I played point guard, he played shooting guard. And if you see the size difference, some people are like, well, I'm surprised he didn't play point guard. And I always tell people it was because he shoots too much. So I'm 1 year above Tay, so I actually played 1 year on varsity before he joined the team. His first year, it almost was like he didn't really know what he was doing. I'd pass from the ball, he'd hit a 3. We'd come down the game, come off screen, hit another 3. One more time, hit another 3. Dead ball, he'd be like, oh, like, am I doing okay? Like, is that okay? I'm like, bro, yes, it's okay. Like, you're good. Like, just keep playing. We were able to have me as a junior and then Tay as a sophomore just breakout years.
We complement each other like almost perfectly. I'm a slasher, he's a shooter, so I just put it like this. Either you want a 3-pointer shot in your eye or you want to just get dunked on. You pick which one. We're the team to beat, so everybody's gonna give us their best.
Fisher in the corner working on it. In the grill of the defender. Throws the 3, Kingston goes up 15 at the half.
To my right, our player of the game, 26 points tonight, are Tay Fisher.
His size and being able to put up the numbers that he put up and his efficiency, I've never seen anything like that in Kingston.
Everyone went to see Tay Fisher. Like, that was the reason.
90% of our games was at capacity, closed down, can't get in.
There were games where we would just say, get out of the way, give him the ball, and let him go.
A lot of the people that were on our team were single parent, grandparents raised them, or they're from the streets. It was good to see those guys really pick up their grades because they wanted to be a part of it and come to school every day.
I think we all had that chip on our shoulder and we were able to take everything that we would go through and just let it all go here. There'd be some chirping on the court, some rough play, and he was always right in the middle of it.
A little frustrated, Fisher goes back at him.
And Keith Simmons, the big-time finish. Kingston rolls for their first section title since 1989, 70-47 over Monroe.
I knew how it was when I was that cocky asshole at some point. And I'm sorry to say that, but I really was. I had it all, but I still didn't have that happiness that I thought I should have had. For a couple years, it was just some rough moments for me. Arguing with my parents, arguing with my dad, where he stopped coming to my games, which really hurt me. I always felt like everybody was against me. I went through a moment of my life where I tried to hurt myself to the point that I had to go to the hospital, and I just told my parents that a nail was kind of sticking out of the wall and I hurt myself. And you forget about it because you lied about it for so many years. And sometimes when you lie and you lie, you lie, it ends up becoming the truth to you. But in reality, I was just going through a problem that I needed help with. And I'm happy that I have the people that I have in my life because they always kept me moving. They always kept me going. My friends, my family. You know, I'm happy that I'm moving forward and I can be there in people's lives and I check on them when needed. And I'm happy that they do the same thing for me.
Things start to get real for us. We started getting looks from colleges, so that dream of being a scholarship Division I player was starting to become real.
You know, I did my best to put Tay with teachers that would care about him and that would help him and that he would connect with. Like a lot of my students, they can't really connect with what I'm doing now and how it's going to help me in the future. So getting grades in the 70s is okay because you're passing, but it's not okay for college. It's not okay for the NCAA. NCAA is a whole nother beast, very difficult.
Mount Vernon has Jomo Belfour and Will Cherry. Kingston has Keith Simmons and Artavius Fisher. Belfour and Cherry are seniors. Simmons and Fisher are junior and sophomore, respectively. Both team nicknames are the Tigers, so we're about to see which Tiger could grab what Tiger by the tail and what Tiger could hold that other Tiger and advance to the state Final Four in Glens Falls. Roar. I had to do that, I'm sorry.
The town, the city, everyone just really got behind us, and we're small town kids. All those things meant so much to us.
Game tied 32 at the half, and Fisher was as sweet as Alicia Keys playing the piano. He made 7 threes on his way to a game-high 28 points. Kingston scored only 7 points in the fourth on 1 of 12 shooting. Fisher hoped for a better result, but all he gets is Coach Ron Kelder's shoulder to cry on. Mount Vernon advances courtesy of the 70-59 decision.
We were all like this. We were all friends. A lot of us came from the Boys and Girls Club. A lot of us were friends outside of the basketball court. That's what it takes to be a great team.
Fisher, a junior, broke Joe Ewell's all-time scoring record at Kingston in early February. Simmons, who will play at Holy Cross next year, followed 1 week later.
Kingston wins back-to-back Section 9 titles for the first time in school history. Class A champion Kingston opened the first round of the New York State Tournament. The Tigers will meet Section 4 winner Elmira Southside. The winner draws New York powerhouse Mount Vernon, but to a man, the Tigers are taking things one game at a time.
We don't want this run to end, so, we have to get strong mentally again and just get ready to play.
Everybody's waiting for us versus Mount Vernon. Mount Vernon got the job done already, and we didn't get it done yet.
On paper, Mount Vernon is a taller team, but then again, the Knights will have more than their hands full with the dynamic duo of Keith Simmons and Tay Fisher. They say all good things must come to an end, and so it is for the Kingston High boys basketball team. For the second year in a row, the Tigers running into the buzzsaw that is Mount Vernon.
And so now they're recreating a whole new team that needs to be led by Tay, who was a smaller guard. So he really had to become a great leader and lead the team in the right direction to win another Section 9, which we did.
I remember seeing his 61-point game and just being like, he's putting together a really special year there.
I remember hearing the fans say, 51, 52, and I'm looking at the score and I'm like, wait, we got more than that. And somebody's like, man, that's how much Tay got. We ended up winning by like 5 or 6, so we kind of needed all those points from him too.
And for him to do it after I graduated, after some of our leaders all graduated, it was very impressive.
I didn't apply to be a role model. I did not fill out paperwork that says what it takes to be a role model. It just happened because of my work ethic, because of my passion, my determination.
Tay, he was very lucky that he had strong educators around him all the time, helping him. And every year he became a better and stronger student.
When he got to be a senior in high school, he really turned the corner and understood how important his education was.
It was overwhelming in his senior year, making sure that he would get cleared by the NCAA and that a college would accept him. But we got there, we did it.
As far as getting offers for college, he got offers everywhere. And it took him a long time to make a decision. He made the decision to go to Siena to stay close to my mom.
The school was just perfect. It was small. I wanted that setting. And since I struggled academically, I wanted my teacher to know me. I needed that in my life in order to make it to where I needed to be at.
When he made that choice, it was heaven for all of us in Kingston because he was only going to be an hour away. You know, and we were like, I can still go watch him play basketball.
In 2004, I signed my Siena scholarship here at the Boys and Girls Club. This is home. No matter where I am in the world, I make sure that I tell everybody the Boys and Girls Club is my home.
His first year was kind of rough. Only won like 6 or 7 games, and unfortunately they fired the coach his first year, and a new coach came in.
When my coach got fired, that hurt me because when he left, all my teammates left as well.
I moved him to the bench. That's not always something that's received well.
He goes from 6th man to 7th man. He goes from 7th man to barely playing.
I'm the type of person that when I make a commitment, I stick with it. I trusted the coach that came in. The only thing he did not like was my braids. Yes, I did have braids. And they looked good too, because growing up, I wanted to be like Allen Iverson. Allen Iverson had the tattoos, he had the braids, he was always the smallest on the court, he was loved. People didn't think he should be doing the things that he's doing right now, but I wanted to be him.
That was major. Like, he didn't know if he was gonna go back or if he was gonna cut his hair.
I was upset, but at the same time, I was confused.
We instituted a policy as to how you would have your hair, and we were pretty strict on that. I said, well, every time you take the floor is a job interview. We're on TV, you're interviewed after the game, and I'm thinking about your future.
And then I just woke up one day and said, you know what? I'm just gonna do it. It's a sacrifice. I trust him. I'm just gonna do it. Maybe I need to cut the braids and start all over again. Maybe that's it. And I did it, and everybody was like, wow.
He ended up bald. You know, from so many braids that he finally just cut it bald.
That I was able to just still be Tay, still go out there, entertain, still do my thing.
Tay was like, I'm gonna play, I'm gonna go out there and I'm gonna hustle.
He's working out 2-3 times a day. We would get done with those workouts and I would go to sleep.
Tay's data was an integral part of our success. It was a pleasure to coach every day. He gave tremendous effort every day. Not only in terms of what he did on the court, but his entire presence, his leadership, his personality, the fact that he was from the state of New York. He came off the bench and just lit the place up, and he did it on a regular basis. He was never afraid of anything. You're on the road, packed house, everybody's on you. Nothing rattled him.
The first moment I met Tay was when I was a freshman at Siena and he was a junior. And I went home the second semester of my freshman year because my mom had passed away. And Tay was constantly checking on me, like, how are you doing? We're thinking about you. We are so excited to have you back at Siena. And I appreciated that because I was going through a very difficult time. And when I came back my sophomore year, he just said, hey, can I take you out for breakfast? And I said, sure, you know, it's fine. And after that, we just kind of hit it off. But with Tay, it was constant laughter. Like, before we even started the relationship, he just was a very kind person. And I think that's what truly attracted me to him.
They made a run for the MAC his senior year, the MAC championship.
I remember the night I told him, I said, you gotta bring it home. He said, don't worry, little bro, I got you. He gave me a jersey. I was so excited to the point where I went to sleep with his jersey on. My parents was looking at me like, come on, you can't wear that. I said, Mom, I'm ready for the game. I'm excited. So he's like, all right, Quan, you do what you got to do.
It's the Metro Atlantic Athletic Conference Championship game. The Siena Saints on their home court at the Times Union Center in Albany, New York.
Playing Ryder, who had Jason Thompson, was a lottery pick. There's a lot of pressure. The winner goes to the NCAA tournament, which is what everyone's goal is. The loser does not.
Being at that game, it was electrifying.
Ryder in the maroon uniforms and Siena in the home gold and green.
That adrenaline was just running through my body and everybody else's that was there. He was always practicing. Even when he didn't have practice, he was in the gym. He was working out, conditioning. He was determined. He's like, it's my last year. I want to win that championship.
Three out of the corner by Tay Fisher, the only senior on the team. He's from Kingston, New York, a team captain celebrating his 22nd birthday. He's the only player left from that 24-loss season. And he'd like to end his career with a trip to the NCAA tournament. The young man has been through a lot. Recently, his mom had a stroke. She hasn't been able to attend many games. They'd like to win for his mom tonight as well. And there's Fisher for three.
The minute he starts making one or two, it's like he gets that confidence. You can't stop him.
Fisher, another three.
Boy, Thompson got out and challenged. What great concentration.
Fisher's been a game changer in this one.
To watch this young guy who I love blow the roof off the place and take our team to the NCAA tournament on his birthday, you know, that's something you never forget, and I know he never will, but I think that endeared him to the Siena fans forever.
There's your guy, Sean. Fisher. 21. Ring him up.
The only senior, Tay Fisher, will be going to the NCAA tournament along with his coach, Fran McCaffrey. And you know his mom is watching in Kingston, New York, and so proud of her son.
And you could see over on the sidelines, Tay Fisher was telling people, I told you. I told you.
I was like the first one out of my family. I just couldn't wait. I ran.
They storm the court in Albany as the Siena Saints win the Metro Atlantic Athletic Conference Championship. And it was their only senior, Tay Fisher, who led the way.
And I was just looking for my brother. You know he's short. I mean, I'm shorter, but, you know, I'm looking like, where's he at? Where's he at? He's like, Quan, I'm over here. And I never forget the day where he just hugged me like this. He was like, I told you, man. I told you. I got you, man. I got you.
Yes, this is how you're supposed to go out. You're supposed to win. And he stayed there. He made a commitment. And he was just so determined on winning. And I was so proud of him.
He did it in prime time when the TV lights came on. And then first round we beat Vanderbilt. He goes 6 for 6 from three again, which is a really, really big stage. And he was made for that.
Into Siena with 3 threes and also getting to the free throw line as well.
Look how they space the floor. Fisher again. Wow. Shot clock discrepancy only about 4 seconds. Fisher will have to launch and bang! His fourth. Fisher. Hello. Fisher. Could it be 6? Yes, it can.
It was epic. It was epic. Just knowing that that's a relative, one, and what he meant to the city of Albany, it's just different. It's different. I was actually thinking NBA tryout, overseas.
He wanted to play overseas. And that's where he was trying to go, but they said he was too short, and he still kept trying. So in the midst of all that, that's when the Globetrotters came.
Our scout had been talking about this kid out of Siena College. The guy could just shoot the lights out of this ball. You know, I said, well, who is this kid? And it was Tay.
When they called me, I didn't believe that it was them.
The only person that knew about the Globetrotters was my father.
And they wanted to meet him and have an interview with him. And I said, you will travel, and it's basketball, but it's entertainment and stuff. I said, it's something that you need to look into.
Unfortunately, at that particular time when he got out of school, we didn't have a spot for Tay.
I didn't even make the team. People don't even know that. I couldn't find anything overseas. I said, you know what? Maybe basketball isn't for me. I went to the College of St. Rose and started my master's.
And he literally just came back home and he started working at the YMCA with me. That was when he was questioning his purpose. Am I good enough? I'm too small.
Then the Globetrotters called me back. I worked on my shooting, I worked on my dribbling. I made sure if you give me another chance, I am going to make sure you take me.
So Tay hung around, man. He waited in 2009. That's when he came in and started his Globetrotter career, man. The kid came in and lightened it up. We're a team of specialists, and Tay's specialty obviously is to shoot that thing. Most serious basketball players, when they come to the Harlem Globetrotters, they still have that competitive side in which we always want them to keep. And that's what Tay had, that competitive side with him. And then after a year or so, you know, man, we started breaking them barriers down. And then you can see all the stuff coming out of this kid. It doesn't matter how tall you are. It's what you got here and to spread your joy. We just had to get it out of him.
Faster. Oh. There you go. All right, I'm coming right to you. Yeah. All right, see that. Here you go. Shake that thing. Yeah.
He lit the place up. He would shoot that thing from anywhere, man, lighten it up. And so it was only fitting to name him Firefly.
And I kind of didn't like it. But when I went out there and I started playing like it, because that's already my style, and kids started loving it, I knew that was it.
I would have never imagined. Like, how do you think somebody in your family is gonna play for the Globetrotters?
It's really just breathtaking that my brother's actually playing professional basketball.
From being so serious and focused to now have a sense of humor playing, but still able to showcase his talent.
It was just amazing watching him. Madison Square Garden was like our biggest thing. We could walk center court, stand in the middle of the Mecca, and just say you were there.
At the Garden game was when I realized I don't care what nobody says, man. Tay's a celebrity. You seen kids in the crowd with Tay Fisher shirts, and people really just liked him and what he brought to the table, and they just started coming. He was grabbing people a whole different way.
"10 years of our relationship was him being on the road. You know, it took some getting used to. I mean, it was 10 years of that. We then just adjusted, and it was Christmas Eve. Christmas Eve was our Christmas, and that was a time when we were with family, and we ate, and we opened presents, and we knew, okay, Christmas morning, we gotta drive Tay to the airport.
Always left on Christmas morning. One of the worst times of the year to leave. That's a family gathering. But you always gotta remember, as a Harlem Globetrotter, you're someone's present. So when they open up their present and they say, oh my God, Harlem Globetrotters, you gotta make it special for them. Because I was always taught that it can be someone's first time watching you play, or it can be their last time watching you play.
We do a military tour every year, and we go perform for the troops.
And one of my favorite moments of being with the Harlem Globetrotters is playing for the troops. I loved playing for the troops. We always went there during the holidays. And we brought a smile to their face. That's what it's all about. That's what it's all about. I loved it.
What's up, Fly? Yeah!
Oh, look at that. Are you kidding me? Channeling his inner Curly Neal. Look at that! Oh, that is so good. Oh, what a way to end the first half.
Seeing them like little kids cheering, it's like, okay, this is something special.
Here's Firefly. Oh, that's from 4. He's got it. I'm gonna light it up, baby. The Firefly, remember he warned everybody he was gonna start cooking. And I smell something good.
I told you. I told you.
You see Tay out there, he'd go grab somebody's military hat from the crowd. And the soldiers loved it. When you perform for the troops overseas, we a taste from home when you see the Harlem Globetrotters, and Tay made it memorable for those people when he came over there. I guarantee you they remember Firefly Fisher.
My mentor is Curly Neal, someone that saw a lot of me and him.
And they became real tight. Curly loved Tay. Fly became one of the Curly Neal's clones, actually, because I've been around this organization about 45 years. And Curly Neal probably one of the best shooters I've seen in my lifetime. He had one of the greatest flares in dribbling as well. And so Fly picked it up. He became that charismatic dribbler, and he always had the eye to shoot the ball. So Curly admired that in him.
And he taught me some moves. He sent me video and said, hey, look at this. Man, when you dribble and you're dribbling around with one hand, look at the crowd, smile at them. Let them think this is the easiest thing in the world, but really it's hard, but you gotta make a connection with them. It's like, whoa, okay, I get what you mean.
There's some moves that the legendary Curly Neal would be proud of.
So now when people see me play, they're like, oh man, I remember watching Gilligan's Island. I remember watching Scooby-Doo. My favorite was Curly Neal, and you remind me of him. And I'm like, wow, that's such a big accomplishment. And he even taught me about the Harlem Globetrotters in itself. That's Black history.
It started in 1926. What the Globetrotters have done for equality, I mean, it's been so much. The guys that played before me and with me, guys like Mellock Lemon, Curly, Geese, the great Marcus Haynes, they laid it out for us. They used to have to go stay with black families. They couldn't get into the hotel. They couldn't get into the restaurants. They had to play for a white audience first, and then they had to go across the track to play for black audiences. They paid their dues. These guys are the guys that would start dancing with white women back in the day when it was unheard of. And then it was accepted because they were the Harlem Globetrotters. We was America's ambassadors of goodwill.
And then all of a sudden, everybody's coming in together, and no matter what was happening during segregation, the Harlem Globetrotters can bring whites and blacks together and forget about all of that and have a good time. That's powerful.
Ready? Nice smile. Yeah.
I always wanted to be a wrestler when I was younger. Being with the Harlem Globetrotters allowed me to bring that inner wrestling out of me. I always wanted to be that kid that Bret Hart gave his sunglasses to in the front row. Always wanted to be that kid. I was jealous every time I saw it.
Oh my God!
That's for you.
And that's the connection right there. And it's all because I had a vision when I was younger that I was able to bring to life as an adult.
All right, man.
That's amazing.
All right? Make sure you keep doing good in school and everything. All right, man? All right, go.
We're in Florence and we had walked the whole day and it was just beautiful. And then he said, hey, let's go to this rooftop restaurant. It's like super nice. You can see the whole city. And he said, oh, the tour guy is gonna join us. I was like, okay. At first I'm like, I thought that's weird. Like I thought you just wanted us to hang out. He's like, yeah, but I think he wants to see like some Globetrotter videos. And I'm like, oh, cool, that's fine. So I go up and I see the laptop, and when he plays the video, it's our memories together. And it was just so overwhelming to see. And I was just bawling because I'm like, look at all these memories. And then right at the end, his sister is filming him walking into a jewelry store, and I'm like, oh, this is happening. And he points to the ring that he wants, and it's a ring pop. And I look, I stand up, and he's on one knee.
Will you marry me?
Yeah. And then the tour guys, they're filming, so that's why he came. That was just so romantic, and I was so surprised, and I loved every minute of it.
I started at the College of St. Rose, and I went with the Globetrotters. I'm that type of person where I don't like to leave things unfinished. I was a student athlete well after my playing days were complete at Siena.
That was very difficult because he was getting his master's while he was on the Harlem Globetrotters. And he would do all of his work while he was on the bus or in the hotel room. And he would call us sometimes, and we'd help him with his assignments.
When I graduated from Siena College, my mom couldn't make it because she was going through a process of losing her legs, which was really, really hard for me because I wanted to see her there. It was tough. So what I did was I made sure I graduated from the College of St. Rose with my master's degree in childhood education, just so my mom can get that opportunity to watch me walk across the stage.
Whether in the red, white, and blue as a Globetrotter or in the green as a Saint, the ball just keeps on spinning for Tay Fisher. Fisher finished his master's in education in December of 2016, but didn't walk for personal reasons.
It was a long process. It took me 10 years to get it. It took me 12 times to pass the exam to be certified. As I continued to always work hard on staying up all night, being in different countries, and then get the results that said, did not pass. It got to a point where I was gonna quit. And I felt like it became personal. You're trying to say I can't do this. And whenever I feel like that, I start to focus in a little bit more, and that's when I say, I'm gonna do it. And then all of a sudden, I passed. I felt like everything was off my shoulders. I was just so happy.
To be able to walk and put this cap and gown on, to be able to make my mom and my dad smile, it's an honor.
Now I can look back and say that it doesn't matter how many times it took. Teaching them kids is about not giving up. You gotta be resilient. You gotta just keep pushing through.
This graduate has earned a master's degree and certificates of advanced study.
I made sure they put her front row. I went over and gave her a hug and gave her a kiss, and I said, this was for you.
But I'm proud of him.
Some days we had to play and travel. We go down and have breakfast, then we hit the road. And you can guarantee if you're gonna find somebody downstairs eating breakfast, it will be Tay Fisher. He's not gonna miss a meal. I can guarantee you every morning.
Being a Harlem Globetrotter is hard. You gotta be a great basketball player. You gotta connect with people. You gotta have great skills on the mic and in front of a camera. There's so many things that have to be checked off for you to be a great Globetrotter. The Harlem Globetrotters brought that flashiness to the game that was never seen before, and now it's seen everywhere. They started the behind the back, the slam dunks, the long range shots, the granny shot, and the 4-point shot. And I'm happy that I was a part of that.
The 3-point shot is a tough shot, but to master that 4-point shot, woo, you know, there's a lot of muscle memory there.
Hey, Firefly, knock down that first 4-point shot, baby. 4-pointer, and he buries it. What's up, baby?
His grandmother was gravely ill. We didn't know if she was going to make it or not, and it turns out she passed during the night. He still played in the game. My family and I were watching, and they had the 4-point shot for the Globetrotters. His first shot, and he made it. And then he shot another one, and he made it. So they just kept giving him the ball. I know him pretty well, and I could see that there was something driving him. You could just see it in his face. He wasn't exuberant. He was very focused. He made 16 total in the game. In fact, he made at one point 10 in a row. And then afterwards, he said, my grandmother was making those shots for me. He just felt like there was a spirit inside of him. Family is really important to him. Loyalty is really important to him. The people he cares about are really motivating factors for him.
I was inducted in the Naismith Hall of Fame from Siena, which was an amazing night. I'm happy that they even thought about me on an athletic standpoint and also from a student standpoint.
Somebody that I saw grind and work and stay committed to his teammates and only ever cared about winning, to then turn around and be recognized individually. I think that's what it's all about.
When you think of the Hall of Fame, you think of great players, great people, people that changed the world. The only problem was the ceremony was the day before my wedding. So I was very happy that my wife allowed me to do it the day before. Even though I'm not in the NBA, I did something special for my name to be there. And I can easily say that that was probably the best weekend of my life.
I knew that he would be a good dad because he is just an amazing role model, and Durant simply adores him.
I just felt like it was time for a new chapter in my life. We were in Europe, and I just said this might be my last time here. And I made sure every shot, I was so concentrated on it. Every person that I took a picture with, I made sure it was a connection that I wouldn't forget. But to know it's your last time, you just make sure you give it your all.
Spotting up from 30 feet. Got it! Firefly, another four-pointer.
He played for 10 years, and then he started his family. Once the little man came around, he said, "Coach, I'm out. I gotta go."
And when he let it go, that was shocking. It was very shocking.
I never thought Tay would give up playing basketball as a Harlem Globetrotter early, but seeing him progress as a dad is amazing.
I'm a family man. I made my decision from leaving based on my family. When I left, people were asking me, "Are you sure this is what you want to do?" My reply was, if it's for my family, it's never the wrong answer. It was a tough day for our family when Durant had his first seizure. He was watching cartoons, and he always laughs at this certain part, and he just didn't laugh. And I thought that was weird. That's me knowing my son, because he's supposed to laugh. He always laughs.
To see a 16-month-old going through that, and we didn't know that that's what was happening, it was extremely horrifying. We were by Durant's side night and day and figuring this out together, and he's been doing better, which is great. We're balancing out his epilepsy and his seizures and figuring out what the triggers are. And Tay was just also so determined on educating himself on it.
This just was another thing that taught me what I need to learn, not only about my son, but how about if I'm encountered with somebody else who has it, how do I handle that situation? And he's had several episodes since, but now I'm comfortable with it happening because I know what to do. It was tough, but we got it. We go through it. If it's gonna happen with anybody, I'll take on the challenge. Why not? Because I know I'm gonna follow through with it. And if I'm gonna follow through with it, he's always gonna be in good hands. I always express who I am through my shirts. And I had to make a shirt for him just to let people know He's an epilepsy warrior. He's strong. We're all in this together. I always tell people all the time, don't just wear the shirt, be the shirt. Show me, how are you gonna change the world? What are you gonna do?
Tay, when it comes to his legacy, it's not about the baskets made or the points scored. It's about, you know what, if I could do this, then somebody else could do this.
When I think back of where he started and where he is now, for a kid to keep trying like that and not give up.
It's been awesome watching Tay's progression from the kid who kind of didn't know what he was doing to seeing what he blossomed into, Firefly.
The best part is that now he does both of his loves. He can teach children and he can teach basketball.
And showcasing that no matter where you come from, you put a lot of work into it, sky's the limit.
Making an impact upon kids and helping their lives be the best they can, it's just beautiful.
And I admire his work ethic so much.
I think about Tay Fisher as a guy that, boy, you wish you had a guy like him every year that you could coach.
He just wants to be the best that he can be, and he wants to be recognized for trying to be the best that he can be.
Pretty soon, I think he'll be walking around with one of these rings on his finger, Globetrotter Legends.
I don't want anybody to be Tay Fisher. There's parents that say, my son wants to be just like you. So, no, I want your son to be better than me, because I am going to provide them the things I wish I had when I was younger. I had great role models. I had great adults. They all helped me through. But now I'm taking every little bit of my teachers, my coaches, my friends, my mentors, and I'm putting them in who I am now. And now I'm providing it to the youth, but doing it in a different way, on a different platform. So I'm giving these kids my all. And I want people to know that I'm there for you. There isn't nothing better than having me come to a 5-year-old game supporting that person and giving them a high five, and people are looking like, whoa, he knows Tay Fisher? I tell these kids all the time, you're changing my life. You think that I'm changing your life, which I am, but in reality, who would I be if it wasn't for you? Every day I wake up, I'm about to change somebody's life. I'm about to make a difference. That's what the Harlem Globetrotters taught me. That's what Sienna taught me. That's what Van Buren Street, my neighborhood, the Boys and Girls Club, my friends, my family, they taught me consistency. People ask me, Tay, do you ever sleep? Globetrotters don't sleep. We rest, and then we do it again. We rest, and then we do it again. And that's how greatness is formed, and I'm always on that path of greatness. I want to set the tone for my family. I want to set the tone for everybody else, because I know they can do it as well. But at the end of the day, I don't want to be called the Globetrotter. I don't want to be called a basketball player. I want to be called Dad.
Yeah.